Back out in the woods, still dealing with these winter temps, but at least we're outside.
Yeah, at least we're outside, and this was viewer requested actually, because we always talk about like, oh, like 5 pieces of gear, or
we only got 4 today.
Yeah, so 4 pieces of gear, and you know, we always talk about like lightweight gear or, you know, cheap gear or something. So somebody asked us, actually a few people have asked us.
This was piggybacked off of we did a video on gear we've never changed out.
Yeah. So somebody said something along the lines of like bomb-proof gear that's never failed you, and
it's like used and abused gear.
Used and abused gear.
Yeah, we got some of that.
We got some of that. So this is gonna be about what 4 items that we feel have been used and abused, and just keep
I forgot
working.
about the boots. 5th item.
Oh, we're back to 5.
We're back to 5.
All right, so this is a 5 item video. All right, so 5 items.
So, okay, to be a little bit serious, these aren't necessarily items we haven't not changed out, but they're items we've had for freaking ever, and we have abused them, dragged them through crap, and they're still going strong. We might not necessarily still use them, but that might be because our preference changed or something like that. But it's items that we really have abused, and we feel comfortable saying that they can take a lot of abuse.
Yep, definitely. Item number 1, and I'm just gonna say Gossamer Gear trekking poles. I have the LT5s, or I'm sorry, the LT4s. Kevin just got the LT5s. I bought my LT4s used years ago, and the things just work.
It's pretty amazing how you've had those for like 10 years.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever. I preemptively replaced some of the tips just because I felt like I should do that, but there was no reason for me to do it. I did this last year. I just ordered new ones online. I didn't need to change them out. I just did because I've had them forever, but they looked fine. You know, everybody likes to poo-poo on expensive trekking poles, but those of you that have used the Gossamer Gear trekking poles know, you know, you get it. You get it. If you want to drop some money on some really nice set of trekking poles that, in our opinion, have been very bomb-proof for me.
I've been very surprised that you've had them for like so long.
Yeah, they're all nasty, covered in dirt constantly, but man, they just have never failed me ever. I've bent them around some rocks before. Nothing's ever broken, no issues whatsoever. So I can't say enough praise about the Gossamer Gear trekking poles. Can you get cheap trekking poles and be just fine? Absolutely. But the Gossamer Gear trekking poles, definitely used and abused, and keep on trucking.
Next item, and I don't use these anymore. They're about fully abused and getting rid of them, but these are a pair of North Face Khathmandu Gore-Tex hiking boots I actually got in 2009 when I lived in Wisconsin, and for the first like 6 years I was backpacking, I only backpacked in hiking boots, so I used them like only them. I also used them as like an around town boot, like when you live in Wisconsin you gotta deal with snow. So I used these for probably 7 or 8 years straight now. I'm mainly backpacking trail runners now, so I don't necessarily use boots.
You used them a couple weeks
but
ago.
I do use them in the winter, and I am not gonna lie. You don't think of North Face as a shoe company, and I honestly don't know how good their shoes are now.
But these boots have been
These boots have been incredible, and if North Face still made them, they don't, I would buy another pair in a heartbeat. They're light, they're Gore-Tex. I mean, 10 years for a boot. I mean, honest to God, if you count like walking around town use in them, probably 1,000 miles. I'm not even kidding.
just on and off.
Just on and off here and there. And so I have been really, and you can see right now, these boots have been abused, and they've been fantastic now. Their abuse is coming to an end. They're kind of starting to come at the seams a little bit. I noticed that on our last trip, but I have been thoroughly impressed with those North Face boots. And I wish they still made them, because I'd get another pair.
Yeah, you know the sad thing is I actually had a pair of North Face like mid-level hiking boots as well as my very first pair, and the lacing systems failed.
Oh, you had that like
Yeah,
that thing? Yeah.
The lacing systems failed like within a year, and then of course I got no assistance from North Face on them. So glad to hear your boots worked out. Yeah.
So this next item is actually something I bought from Andy, who bought from somebody else.
Shout out to Jason.
Shout out to Jason. Distorted Access. So do you know when this is a Montbell 20-degree down hugger sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Do you know when it was bought?
It was bought used probably 10 or 11 years ago.
So it's probably what, 13 to 15 years old?
Yeah, and it was bought used off of Gear Trade. So when Jason got it, it was used, and then he sold it to me. So the crazy thing is that
That's
bag,
incredible.
That bag still has so much loft in it, and
it works great.
all the zippers are still working great. It's got a little bit of Velcro on it, and the Velcro's in perfect condition. You don't see any down coming out between the seams.
I mean, for a 15-year-old piece of gear, sleeping bags get used.
Yeah.
And that, granted, I've washed it, so that keeps the loft in it.
Yeah.
But I am very impressed with the Montbell sleeping bag.
Yeah, Montbell just in general is a great brand. Yeah, shout out to Montbell.
Shout out to Montbell.
Yeah, shout out to Montbell. Yeah, that was a fantastic purchase, and that bag just has held up. And you know, one of the things that a lot of people talk about with down gear that really kind of like grinds my gears and it happens on every down product, but when like pieces of down start coming out through the
feathers
seams,
pop out through the seams.
Yeah, and I've never seen that on that bag, and that bag is just awesome. If you're in the market for like a full sleeping bag, and
for sure,
check out the Montbell line for sure, especially if you want like a nice lightweight sleeping bag, down sleeping bag.
And they're priced reasonably.
Yeah. Still make them. Great stuff. All right, next item, and this falls under the kind of the mindset of simplicity.
This has been abused.
Simplicity is king here, and this has been
abused.
This has been abused. This is my Trail Designs Caldera F keg system, my alcohol stove, and you know, it's a beer can with an aluminum windscreen. I mean, how would that fail? I mean, it's been abused. It's dented. The windscreen's all dented up and folded, and but I mean, there's nothing really to break on it.
When did you get that?
I don't know, 10 or 11 years ago.
Good Lord.
I made I've had it.
We've been doing this for a while.
It was one of the first like full alcohol stove setups that I ever bought, and I bought it directly from Trail Designs a long time ago. The pot and the windscreen, I mean, again, it's just a beer can and a piece of aluminum windscreen. No issues whatsoever.
Yeah.
It is used and
pretty
abused.
impressive.
It's bent and dented, but it's so simple. It just works. Never had any issues with it whatsoever. So can't recommend that system enough.
The next and last item we're going to talk about, it's really two items, and I have preached about these in videos in the past. I have a full Patagonia Baselayer. It's both an R1 bottom and an R1 pullover. I got the R1 pullover in 2003, and I got the R1 bottoms in 2009. I wear them both regularly still. They're still, like, literally there's only one little hole in the pullover that's from me washing it with a piece of gum. They still work great. I cannot preach Patagonia base layers enough.
Yeah, shout out to Patagonia
Shout out
base
to
layers.
Patagonia for making quality products that last, and Patagonia's mantra in general is all about repairing versus rebuying, which I really like.
Yeah.
But I have been so impressed. I keep thinking like I'm gonna get another pair of tights or another like thermal base layer, but the R1 line and the Patagonia stuff in general, it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, it's fleece, it's Polartec, it's warm. Great system. I've literally had the top for 16 years, which is absurd if you think about it.
Yeah, and I have a full R1 suit as well. And yeah, I mean, Patagonia base layers in general, they're expensive. They are expensive.
But they last.
Yeah. They last. So, and you can find them all over the used market.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, Patagonia base layers, just phenomenal. Kevin's had his set forever. I haven't had my set nearly as long, but hopefully mine will last as long.
Yeah, you can tell I have cats. There's gonna be a lot of cat hair in the B-roll pictures.
Okay.
So those are kind of just, we were thinking about, okay, maybe not items that we haven't changed out, but items that we have seriously abused and used. And for everything from alcohol stoves to base layers, we stand by all these items. They've worked out really well for us. So if you're in the market for base layers or something, consider Patagonia. You know, if you want a really simple, tried and true stove system, maybe check out the
Trail
Design's Caldera system. But it's always fun to kind of look at gear that's really lasted, because you know you deal with gear failures on the trail all the time.
Yep.
And I think it's important to pay respect to those, you know, those soldier items that have just been through the mud.
Yeah, yeah. The stuff that those items have just worked so well.
So thank you all for watching. Let us know if you have any items that you've really just kicked around and have been dragged through stuff and seen a lot.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching. We'll see everybody on the next one.